So I've been coming back up in this mountain range for pushing 25 years now. Started out hunting with a compound in the late 90s and cut my teeth really hunting mule deer out here. This is where I had already hunted mule deer before, but this is where it's kind of been my school of mule deer hunting, where I really cut my teeth. And it's really become a special place over the last couple plus decades as I've been hiking around in here with Tim and telling him about, this drainage here where I stalked this buck or missed this one or saw a mountain lion or had a cool experience of one sort or another. It's pretty neat to reminisce and I don't know how many days I've spent up here, but you build a relationship really kind of with the mountain, and it's pretty neat to be able to come back and rekindle all those memories. But unfortunately, the last 10 years or so, really probably even more so the last 5 years, there's just been more and more people. And it's kind of sad, when you get up here and to steal a phrase from Mike Mitton, chasing solitude. And you go 10 miles back in and you see probably more people than you would if you were road hunting. I mean, so far we're 2 days in and 13 other hunters, which is insane. It's basically become combat bow hunting, and everyone kind of jockeying for position. And I mean, it's neat. You meet some nice people up here, and everyone's kind of got a common goal. But at the same time, I mean, I think most of us are after the same thing, to try to get up here and experience this mountain in as much solitude as possible. And anymore, it's just become really like a rat race up here. I'm not sure what to do because I've been basically hunting this same spot, same general area, handful of canyons now for, like I said, over 20 years, and you kind of hate to break that relationship and go somewhere else, but at the same time, it's not all that much fun when you are bumping elbows with a bunch of people. It's not any fun really for anybody. And I still managed to find some deer and ferret out some quiet places, but it's getting harder and harder. So we'll see what happens in the future, but in the meantime, just try to soak it in and build some more memories.
At the start of the end, here comes your white knight. Got a foot on the edge, looking over the ledge, and everything will be just fine, turning inside out, falling out of time. If it's the final story, it's death and glory, and tomorrow the sun will rise and we'll start over again. We'll write a different story.
see the 3 bucks where they're bedded right below that sage. There's the big buck there, the smallest one, and then the medium-sized buck. So I'm going to be able to come down from above, and I'm probably going to have to wait till they stand up because that sage is too tall to be able to get a shot while they're in their bed. So I'm either going to have to wait till they stand up, or I'm going to have to chuck a rock to get them to go. But that buck we're after is the one in the middle right there. You can see him moving his antlers around there. So this is about as good of a situation as we could have asked for. I would have loved to have had a spot I could have gotten a shot right into their beds there, but beggars can't be choosers. So we're going to get after them right now before they get up and move at some point later this morning or later today, and into maybe a less opportune spot. So we got good cover. We can get right, within 60 yards of them without hardly any effort. So we're going to get after it. Got a good steady wind. We're stalking these bucks on the south-facing slope, and it's still early. It's about 10:30 right now. But these thermals have been coming up pretty good. Not super strong yet, but definitely still coming up. So we're probably 300 yards out right now, and gonna start being a little quieter on our approach here. That those bucks are bedded beneath there, and I haven't sorted out. I know once I get up there, that sagebrush is going to be tall enough, and I think they've got some bunker beds dug out, so I'll just be able to see the tops of their tines if I'm lucky, which means if they stand up, that's probably the top of their back. So even getting in there and throwing a rock to get them to stand up may not get me a shot. So I may just have to get in there and post up, wait till they get up and come out, which is not really the way I like to do it, because these mountain thermals can be pretty fickle. But all the way across through the head of this canyon, they've been consistent coming up, and it's only going to get better as the sun swings around. So
spooked, so we'll sit tight, see if he beds back up, maybe we'll get another whack at him. Morning of day 6, about 20 after 9, an hour ago, I bedded up a nice 4-point down in the bottom of this basin, actually on the finger ridge that separates the two. It'd been a really slow, actually this has been a really slow hunt, period, and we haven't been turning up many bucks on this ridge. And then I finally saw some little dinks, and so I was kind of halfway keeping an eye on them. There was a big fork and horn down there, and I was wondering how juicy he would be on my Traeger grill and if I should go down there and try and make a run at him. And then I picked up a deer moving up through the trees, and I thought for sure it was that same big 2-point, and lo and behold, it's a pretty nice 4. So it's game on here. He's been bedded for about an hour. I had left my stuff around the corner, so I had to do a retrieval on that. Actually, Tim brought it up for me, and now I'm gonna drop back into the basin and then cut over. There's a nice big rock, and I'm gonna pop up on the rock, and he's bedded at the end of a dead snag. It should be, I'm hoping, a 30-ish yard shot, but I'll know once I get there. It's really hard to tell. The distance is so far from here. But I hope it's not, any further than like 30 yards or something. But I'm pretty stoked. I thought today was going to be just a rest recuperation day after our big walkabout yesterday. But man, maybe this is it right here. Standing up, acting a little bit alert. I know it's nothing that we did, but they're looking back in this direction here. So from the top up there, where I was at, 62 yards about noon here on the last day, and we just finished climbing out of that hole I blew that stalk on earlier, and came over and checked on those bucks that Tim glassed up this morning, and he's bedded down there underneath that bottommost rock down there, giant rock. So looks like I get to do another hike. Woohoo! I'm so excited. But yep, we're gonna give her hell. I think I forgot what it takes to kill a deer in here. Can't believe this last day. That was a kind of a tough one right there. Having to lean out away from the rock here to try to clear it, and he pegged me as soon as I cleared it, and I tried to get a shot off, but all I cut was air. Long hike back out of here now. Ay, ay, ay. You know, when you think you know everything, I mean, I never feel like that, but you feel like you've learned every lesson. That's a better way to put it. You just continue to learn new ones or relearn old ones, and those are the ones that are most painful, when you relearn a mistake that you've made, you know, before, or maybe a lot of times before. And there's been a handful of those on this trip that made the difference between, you know, me having a notched deer tag and me going home empty-handed. And I realized that, you know, you're never going to be successful every time, but you sure strive for it. And we gave it hell up here this year, man. I'll tell you, we covered a lot of miles, put on a lot of stalks, spent hours and hours glassing, and had a great time. But in the end, we didn't do a dent to the deer population.